Are your LinkedIn posts drowning in a sea of boring headshots? Today, I'm going to show you how to increase your engagement by using dynamic AI animations rather than boring still images. When you're scrolling LinkedIn, you've probably seen a lot of professional headshots. You've probably seen some infographics, and maybe you've even seen some AI art. The fact of the matter is, none of those seem to grab attention anymore. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to find the illustration style for your brand, and then I'm going to show you how to produce an image with that style on Midjourney. And finally, I'm going to introduce a AI called Runway, where we're going to take that image and animate it to really grab attention on your next LinkedIn post. All right, like I said, we're using an illustration style. Now, you can use realism in order to generate kind of alternatives to stock imagery using Midjourney. But what I'm finding is that illustrations really highlight a brand. And with illustrations, you can make lots of images. And it's actually easier because people's expectation of illustration is less stringent of their expectation of realistic photography. So it really helps the production process. But you need an illustration style that you're going to stick with. So what we're going to use is the find an illustration style for your brand GPT, and we're actually going to pick a style, then produce an image using Midjourney. Now, if you are wondering how to use the GPT or Midjourney, please check the former episodes because we already covered these two AI. But then we're going to take that and we're going to generate an animation using Runway. Runway is a really cool tool, super capable, but it's also super easy to use. So if you're scared about, oh, could I do it? Don't be. It's actually way simpler than you think. All right, to get started, we're going to go ahead and click I need an illustration style for my brand. I'm going to use my personal brand for the example in here because I actually haven't generated artwork for my brand. I've just kind of done it randomly, but it's time to set a path. So what we're going to do is say use the branding details from this page, and I'm actually going to just grab my About Us page from my website, paste it there. And I was going to search the web. It's going to review the page, and then it's going to pull the branding information from it. So, how's my core brand values, brand voice, brand avatar, all that kind of fun stuff. We're good. Next is with these brand pillars in mind, we can proceed to develop an illustration style that aligns with your brand's identity. Do you have a specific style in mind, or would you like me to suggest styles based on this information? And I'll say two. I'm going to have it suggest styles. Now, you don't have to do that. You may have an idea of what you want. And just so you don't have to know the name of the style you want. You just have to have a picture of it. Or you could, say it's from a movie. I just worked with one of our partners to generate his style using that 300 graphic design or graphic novel style. That's another illustration style. So you don't have to describe it in typical terms, but you can. So it says modern flat illustration, sketch and scribble style, or isometric illustration. Now, you could read these, but you're not going to know what it means necessarily. So what you could say is, please generate an example image for each of these. And so using Dolly, which is the image generator on ChatGPT, again, I don't like Dolly as much as Midjourney, but you can use it. It's really good for this type. So here you have kind of a minimalistic, modern flat illustration style. It's pretty cool and actually kind of goes with what I do. I have a style in mind, which I'm going to put in. You have the sketch style, again, kind of neat, distinct, not loud enough though. I want to be loud. You need to be loud these days to get attention. And then you have the isometric illustration style. I think these are all good choices. They're all very safe, though. I don't like safe right now. I like something different. So give me, I'm just going to say, I don't like these. I want something that is 80s synth style. And again, you don't have to describe the whole thing. You could basically say, hey, here's kind of what I want. Or again, upload a picture. If you find, a graphic you like from somewhere else, you could do it, just use that. And you could say, okay, this is 80s synthwave style illustration. I could say, I like it, but I want it more, we'll say raw and grungy. And so now it's kind of getting into it. So again, if you can't describe it, that's fine. Just again, upload an example. It'll tell you what it is. But what we're trying to do is really nail down like a specific term that will illustrate what we're talking about. So this is raw and grungy's 80s synth style illustration. That sounds pretty cool. You get some grunge in there, but you still have that bright colors and you have the neon, which I really like. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab this term. I'm going to say that looks great. I'm going to come to Explore or the midjourney.com. You could use Discord. I showed you how to do that in a previous thing. Oh, actually, this is what we were working on before. So this is the 300 graphic novel style. But for this, what I'm going to do is just paste this in here. And now, if you want to say, give me a description of a scene that would be in line with the brand, you don't have to even think of that. Like, oh, what should I actually generate? You could do, you can just ask it, it'll tell you. The saying is a gritty underground creative hub bathed in vibrant neon lights and blah, 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 blah. It keeps going for quite a while. I'm going to say, make the prompt for Midjourney. So again, you don't need to think. Just ask for what you want. And now it did it right. So it actually did it in a single paragraph, and it actually gave me some of these dimensions. So AR is your aspect ratio. A V5 doesn't mean anything, so I'm not going to do that. But we'll go ahead and grab. And actually, since we're not using Discord, we don't need that. So I just want the description. So I'm going to come into create. I'm going to put this. And I can put that. Now, since this is a really long, I mean, it has it right here, 80s synthwave style. I don't have to worry about it, but I always put it at the end just in case. Now I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to do 16:9 as my standard, landscape image. I don't want to personalize. I didn't actually cover that capability with y'all yet, but I will. And then stylization, I think 100 is safe because it's already going to be funky enough. So let's go ahead and say enter. And there you go. Now, while that's generating, I'm going to come over to Runway. So Runway does have a free version, so you could use these capabilities without paying for it. They're just more limited, but we're not doing anything complicated. The best thing you could do, and there are some different ones, you could actually generate images with this platform, but again, I like Midjourney, so I stick with it. What I typically use is called Generate Video. So after you log in, you just want to click on Generate Video. And then it's going to ask you to upload a file. You can name your session, but pretty much all you have to do is upload a file. Now, if you don't, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, you don't even have to put a description, but the description really helps. So what we're going to do is simply use the prompt we use to generate the image to generate the video as well. So I'm going to come back to create. And this is pretty sweet. It's kind of like that grungy, like retro, but this one looks a little bit more modern. So I think I like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image. I'm going to come back to my session. I'm going to select the asset. I'm going to upload my file I just generated. Now I could just say enter at this point. Like I could just go, but I don't want to. What I want to do instead is I'm going to click on this again, and I'm just going to grab all of the description. Because what we're doing now is we're telling this AI what the image is of. And the reason you want to do that is because if you don't, it's going to have to make it up itself. And it doesn't usually do a good job. Now, you typically have the 5-second and 10-second. I would stick with 5-second. The more time you give it to animate, the more kind of crazy it gets. So it's actually more useful, and it actually costs a lot less. Because when you start paying for this, the longer the video you make, the more expensive it's going to be. And, I'm cheap. So I'm going to do the thing that costs the least amount of money. All right. And it's very quick. You could see. Now, it does depend on the type of image and what you have it do. You can also add multiple images. I'm not going to do that in this video, but we might do it in the next one. So stay tuned. But here, what you're getting is just a neat image. So again, and you can just see what it does. Let's say play. Just going to pan it around. It's going to move it. So it's not a lot of crazy movement. It's just basically turning it into an animated scene. Now you might say, like, I could just pan on a video on Premiere. You can, but what you'll notice here is it's not just panning and zooming. It's actually expanding the image itself. So it's doing a lot more than it looks like. And if I wanted to, I could have sparks flying around, and I could have mist, and all you have to do is put that in the description and it'll do it. But for now, especially for a platform like LinkedIn, you don't have to go too crazy. So I'm going to actually take this. I'm going to post it online. We'll see how it does. But typically, you're going to find that this is going to do way better than me just putting a picture of myself, smiling at the camera. That could work sometimes too. But this gets attention, and it says, hey, look, I know how to do something you don't, which is kind of cool. And the more you use this, more people will actually start to recognize this specific style and animation in your posts. And then if they like your post, now you give them another marker to say, hey, this is my brand. Remember, I'm over here. And then you'll get much better branding done. All right, so there you have it. I did do a few steps, but you could see I did that very quickly. I found my illustration style, I generated an image, and I animated that image all within about 5 to 10 minutes. So you could do this a bunch of times. You could actually test your illustration style if you want. But again, when it comes to your brand, I want you to be passionate about it, especially if it's your personal brand. So make sure it reflects something that you like, that you enjoy seeing, and don't always just make it about the target market. That's great, but honestly, your target market will find you if you focus on your passions in the first place. So go ahead and try it out. Generate an image, post it, see what happens. You'd be shocked, especially if you aren't known as like a tech person. People just say like, "How'd you do that? That's incredible. I want to do that." And then you got that attention, and then hey, maybe I'll show you that, and then maybe you have a meeting with them, and that gives you the opportunity to talk about your business. So even if you aren't doing marketing per se, this is very good for personal branding, and I definitely recommend you do it. So tune in next time. We're talking more runway generative AI.